Welcome to another episode of Health Your Way podcast, where we discuss health issues ranging from physical, mental, emotional, as well as current facts. Today's episode, we're going to be talking about emotional freedom techniques. Basically, I'm just going to refer to it as EFT. I have no idea what EFT is. This is why I have my guest speaker today. My guest is Gerard O'Brien, who's a master EFT, which is emotional freedom techniques practitioner. He's a mental health advocate, a life coach, and a motivational speaker. So welcome, Gerard. Thank you for coming on the show.
Mo. You're very welcome. Thank you very much for having me on. Really appreciate it.
No, and you're coming all the way from Ireland, so I know it's late for you on that end, and I appreciate your time, sir.
That's okay.
I think for me and for my audience, it would be more, what is EFT? Is this a new therapy? I'm not sure. Like, this is all new to me, so educate me, please.
That's okay. EFT has been around roughly 30 years. There was a gentleman by the name of Gary Craig came up with the terminology emotional freedom technique, and he was a Harvard engineer, and he came up with this concept of what's called tapping, and you literally tap on acupressure points on the upper body while releasing trauma from past events and energy blocks. So that's basically what EFT is, but you know, you will not achieve your true healing potential unless you start to resolve trapped emotions, because the cause of all negative emotion is a disruption in the body's energy system. And we're working on the energy system, primarily the meridian system. And I'm sure you're aware of what the meridian system is, which was discovered by the Chinese over 5,000 years ago. So I'm literally tapping on these acupressure points while verbalizing how I may be feeling, or my clients, they verbalize the negative aspects of what's going on in their lives at that particular moment. And it's literally like cutting the cord from past events and setting them free to move forward in life, because everything is as a result of our past experiences, and we take an awful lot with us from childhood. And I give it a very fast explanation on what I'm trying to get across here. So let's say we get a little bag when we're born, and this is going to be our bag of emotions. But something might have happened in childhood. You might have heard your parents arguing, if you were lucky enough to have parents at the time, that they didn't separate. So you might hold on to some fear, a little rock of fear. So that's your first experience of a negative emotion that you start to hold on to, and you're unsure how to express this because you haven't been taught. So the next one, you might go to school and get bullied, and that's a different aspect of fear. So that's two lots of fear you're already carrying. So then when you get a little bit older, you have relationship issues, and you find it difficult to deal with it. And then you get anxiety, and you hold on to anxiety in your spleen or your stomach, and this bag of emotions starts to get really heavy. And then when financial problems come in the door, love goes out the window. Massive issue. Then divorce is on the cards, and you're carrying such a bag of heavy emotions around you, but you can't see these emotions because they're all internal. So I help to release these trapped emotions in order to change people, to help them change themselves and to change their lives for the better.
Okay, I get what you're saying. And what I want to understand is, like, it's a tapping moment, a tapping process. So you tap at a specific line of the system, or through acupuncture, I'm not sure, and then that releases some of the tension, correct?
Correct. Will I show you? Will I show you what it looks like?
I'm not sure if people that are listening will be able to see what it looks like, but people are watching would be. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll show you right now, okay? It's so simple. I could teach a 5-year-old in 5 minutes. And I do this in schools. I teach it in schools and colleges, as well as the talks that I give. And it's very simple. What you do is you bring up how you're feeling. So let's just say, for instance, that you're feeling anxious more, or I'm feeling anxious. So I'll address how I'm feeling. I'll bring it up and I'll focus on it. Now, it might be a little bit traumatic at the time, but unresolved emotions, if you don't deal with them, they're just going to fester inside, and they're going to cause massive complications within the physical body as time progresses. And memories buried alive never die. Always remember that. So we need to release these patterns from the past, because everything has an energetic connection to time, places, and events, and it runs constantly in the hard drive in the subconscious mind, because the subconscious mind is the filing system for the conscious mind thinking. It never forgets. So tapping literally is cutting the energetic cord between the events that may have caused the feelings, the negative feelings in your body that you're carrying through into adulthood. Like that. It's just incredible. So this is it. You bring up how you're feeling. So we just assume I'm feeling anxious. And what you do is you tap on what's called a karate chop point, and you do this 3 times. I'll only do it once, and you just tune in and you say to yourself, you could give yourself a rating of 0 to 10, 10 being very intense, 0 means doesn't bother me. So this is what it goes like. Even though I'm holding on to all this anxiety, but I deeply and completely love and accept who I am. That's your setup phrase. And how are you feeling? Anxious. All this anxiety, just up above your eyebrow, all this anxiety, take a deep breath. All this anxiety, and this is actually your anxiety spot. All this anxiety, and the collarbone, all this anxiety, under your arm, 4 inches, all this anxiety, and then you take a deep breath. You just let it go. And I'm telling you, once you start to do this, it unbelievably transform your life. I've literally treated thousands of people with this simple, crazy looking technique that defies logic at times. It really does. And it's as simple as that.
So when you made that comment about it's so simple and it defies logic and looks crazy, then for the people that are watching or listening to what you're saying, is this actual tapping or EFT evidence, like based support? Is it supported by evidence or?
Yes, it has. It has been hundreds of documented cases on scientific evidence with this. I could refer the listeners, the viewers, to a couple of sites like EFT Universe or the Guild of Energists in the UK, which I trained under, and they can go onto their sites and log into the library and it'll just come up, scientific evidence.
I like that. So then I'm listening to what you're saying. So for the others, like people that are like, okay, we're open to what you're saying right now, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Can it also be applied to not only individual, but can it be applied to relationship or family units or interactions in your daily life? Like it doesn't have to be a trauma, but can help other aspects of your life as well.
Absolutely. And that's a very good question, Mo. In a lot of cases, I might deal with, we say, a parent might bring their child to me. But what happens is what the child is going through affects the entire family. So the energy of the environment, i.e. the home, is somewhat toxic at times because the child may be going through some sort of trauma. Could be bullying or some fear again or anxiety that they're holding on to, but it affects the whole. So then I'll bring in the family and we'll work collectively as a family, as a unit, and make it fun as well, and literally release the energy blocks, and the family goes back home and things start to really iron themselves out, and they've learned an incredible technique. I also work with professional athletes and teams, and I go to colleges and I teach this, and I even teach this in schools, the young primary schools and that, and it's life-changing stuff. And I know it might look silly, but a closed mind is open to nothing. So just be a little bit open-minded and you'll be very surprised where EFT can take you. And it works on, we say EFT works where nothing else has worked before. And I've proven this literally thousands of times in my clinic with people. I'll tell you one brief story. There was a lady came to me, and what happened was she was making a cup of tea one night and her hand started shaking. The cup fell out of her hand. And then progressively, her entire body started shaking uncontrollably. It was like 24-hour epileptic fit. It's just constant. She lost her job. She lost her social life. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks on heavy medication, and she saw every type of specialist to the length and breadth of Ireland at the time. Nobody could do anything with her. So she came to me, her husband brought her to me, and she was on, those Zimmer frames that elderly people with respect to them use for getting around. She came to me with one of those, and her body was just hopping constant. 25 minutes later, she walked out my door. Perfect. She was holding on to so much stress. Everybody they didn't see where it was coming from. She was stressed. She was holding on to stuff from childhood, problems in the marriage, and it all came to a head at that point where her body just broke down. So the emotional content affected the physicality of the body, a psychophysiological connection. And I helped release it just by tapping. And she just could not believe it, what had actually happened. And it was just a wonderful experience for me and for her, in order for her to get her life back together. And she's still the same to this day.
I like what you said, because a lot of people that are listening or watching are like, okay, like really, what is he really saying? He's not making sense. But at that point, nobody really understands the whole body as a whole. Like medicine can only take you so far. Like it doesn't hurt you to try something different that, has worked for other people that may not, might work for you, but it's not going to harm you if it doesn't or doesn't. And I really wanted to ask you this question because I did some of my research on EFT, and I struggled with finding some real information because I don't think a lot of people practice it. I've never heard of it. This is why I'm having this conversation with you. So for people that are listening like me or watching you, where could we find more information about this, or who could we reach out to?
Yeah, I'm surprised actually because I was on the internet only recently, just before I came on, and it's endless the amount of
Really?
EFT. Yeah, endless the amount of EFT sites
Maybe
on.
not where I am. Maybe
Yeah,
I'm not
that's
looking for
most
it
unusual.
properly.
But like the two sites that I mentioned a while ago, you'd get
Okay.
incredible information. That's the Guild of Energists, the GOE, and the EFT Universe, and there'll be so many come down after that, and you will learn so much, and it is so interesting.
But what I find is that it's not, unless you're specifically looking for that, it's not advertised. Advertised is a wrong choice of word, but it's not advocated as a form of therapy that people should use. Like I don't see it being talked about or written. That's where I'm saying
Yeah,
it's not out there that much.
yeah, and it's at the first level of healing. I honestly believe that in the future, in the coming years, that people will be coming to see me faster than they go to a hospital or a GP, because when they realize that everything is energy and all the emotions that we're holding on to are all energy based, and when you can tap on just simple particular points on your upper body and release trauma that you're holding on to, unbelievable.
I can respect that. And I think if people were interested in reaching out to you, because I know you're in Ireland, but I'm not going to speak for you, but do you offer online support or online services? What's the best platform to reach out to you?
Best platform is you can get me. My website is www.gerardobrien.com, or you can get me on TikTok, and my handle is at Gerard O'Brien. I put
You're
up
on
a lot of.
TikTok? Hold on, you're on TikTok,
And
Jerry.
I'll tell you why. Because my daughter said, "Dad, look, this is the way to go," and I post videos every night, and the feedback I get is unbelievable, and it's just so
Oh,
rewarding. It's so rewarding to get things like, somebody was about to take their own lives and they saw my video and I turned it around. People suffering in relationships, and some of the stuff that I talk about, they decided to leave that relationship that might have been toxic. And this is the other thing with EFT is the EFT, you can try it on anything, whether you're going through some financial issues, if it's a relationship issue, whatever the case may be. If you can't get a job, if you're not happy in your job, you tap on exactly how you're feeling, because it's just an energetic block and you're preventing yourself from moving forward. So I pose this question to the viewers. If you could do something as simple as this while focusing on what's holding you back and actually release it, it's worth a try, surely, guys. It's worth it.
I
I'm doing this for nearly 15 years. For nearly 15 years, and it's just nothing short of miraculous at times when
I
I
think
see the
that's
difference.
what, yeah. Like I know what you're saying, and I think a lot of people are like, okay, really? And I'm being skeptical because I know people like that, right? And
Mm-hmm,
I'm having this conversation with you because I really want to understand,
mm-hmm.
right? And I know you were on the summit with me. It's just I think you're right. I think at this point in time, you have to be open with ideas that are out of the
Yeah,
box.
yeah, absolutely, Mo. But if you look at it, no, and this is no disrespect to everything else that's going on out there, therapy-wise and stuff, but there's very little working, especially for people's emotional and mental health. But this is proven and tested, and I'll tell you exactly why it's proven and tested, because I'm doing this every day of the week and transforming people's lives just by tapping on them and bringing up issues from past. And yes, some of the sessions get very intense for people, but trapped emotions, as I said, if you don't address them, they're going to fester inside you. So something that happened when you were 7, you carry this into your 21st year, 22nd year, and your 50th year, and you're still holding on to something from the past that doesn't exist anymore, but only at an energetic level. Then it's detrimental. So and this is what I also bring into schools and instill in children and allow them to address and to feel their emotional state and to release trapped emotions and make it really fun for the kids, really young kids. And it's life-changing. So if kids were allowed to process their emotions, if they were allowed to feel their emotions and to address them, and it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to feel sad and to feel angry, but something, I can tap it better. I can tap it better and I can release it just by doing this.
And that's funny because I just had an interview with this woman about grief and how, people are always telling us to try, they always say, don't be sad or don't be, and don't, basically teach you how to hold inside your grief or whatever sadness or your emotions. And there's like, you go to schools, but in schools, they don't really teach you how to deal with your emotions. They don't give us that book or whatever education. Even in university, like a lot of us, you said, we go through times and we learn and we address life. Life can be difficult. As we go through lives, we're impacted by other people, but there's no playbook out there to deal with that. And then by the time we need you, we've already, as you showed with the bag, you've already have multiple and you don't even know what's wrong with you.
Correct. Very well said, Mo. But if you get to the kids when they're young and to help them with the emotional states, then it's going to save literally billions on the states that you're living in, because you're not going to have these mental health issues as time progresses. But I honestly believe, and it's just my opinion, Mo, if we were allowed to process our emotions at a young age, deal with them and address them, as I said earlier on, I don't think there'd be a lot of mental health issues today.
It's not your opinion. It's my opinion. I think it's a fact. I don't think it's an opinion. I think it's a fact. I really think that, go ahead. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Sorry, look, no, excuse me. But then when somebody comes along with something that's what's this EFT stuff? This stuff is mental, excuse the pun, but this is crazy. What tapping is going to release trapped emotions? 100%. 100%.
You're right. Like, to be honest, I have to come up with a mindset that you don't know what works for you. You have to try. You have to be open to it, right?
Try it, yeah.
Yes. And then when you made the comment about how a lot of people are dealing with emotions, and if we learn to address those emotions or learn how to work, if tapping works for you, if some other form works for you, but you got to be open to resolving your issues. I think that's a big thing. Like open to speaking to someone like you to get the resolved, or even teaching your kids, because a lot of people have mental issues. A lot of people don't want to talk to somebody. If you don't want to talk to somebody, don't talk. Go see Gerard. Okay, he'll tap you away. Like just different methods to help with your mental health.
It's different, and it's very, very different because, me as a practitioner, and I'm speaking for lots of EFT practitioners the world over, that just give it a try, and you'll be very surprised what direction this may take you. Because, as I said, I treated thousands of people, and I get why do I do this? I tell you straight why I do this more. I absolutely love to help people and to help change their lives. It's the most wonderful feeling. Honestly, it really is. I've been through stuff myself in my own life. Obviously, I mean, who doesn't? Everybody gets their own little bag of emotions filled with rocks going through life. But it depends on how you deal with them. But the most important thing from past experiences and trapped emotions, the negative aspects of what you've gone through in your life turn out to be the golden nuggets, the jewel in the crown, because you learn from that. It's the only way you're going to grow and transform as a human being, from learning from past experiences.
I like that. And I want to say thank you for being on this platform. Thank you for taking the time to educate me on EFT as well as my audience. I don't think I understood it, and I don't think I was open to the idea, but I was open to learning from you. So, and I'm not sure there's many EFTs where I live, but if where you are, or even the education or just talking to you, I think that's what people you can offer for people that are maybe not close to you. But I want to say thank you. I do. I really want to say thank you for this.
Oh, thank you. And just one thing before we leave, Mo. This has been introduced into schools in North America.
Really?
Yeah, it has. And in the UK, and I'm introducing into schools in Ireland as well. So, this is starting to gain momentum.
Okay.
It really is.
I'm happy for that.
Yeah, so am I. So am I.
No, I think so, because a lot of people may not want to, they may be open to other options. They don't know there's other options that might work for them, and they might be interested in that. And I think having those options available is something that people should take advantage of.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's lots of wonderful energy systems out there, different practitioners out there. Try them all, and maybe give EFT a try then as well.
No, okay, EFT a try. I don't know if I don't know if I'm going to need it one day. I don't know if I have right now. I don't know how many bags of rocks I have in my bag right now.
Your invisible bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you very much, Gerard. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Not at all. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for joining us today on our weekly episode of Health Your Way podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, share with others, and please feel free to comment below and ask any questions on topics we discussed, as well as future topics you'd like to hear about. Have a happy and healthy week, and be sure to tune in next week for the next episode on a Help Your Own Way podcast.